What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family. And of course, hop in the Discord. The link for that is in the description box down below. And as we get rolling here tonight, guys, again, turning the page on a brand new week. And remember, Monday night game this time.
Yeah,
so
leaving behind the Eagles and that ugly loss. Yeah, we got Houston on Monday night, so that's why you pushed everything an extra day forward.
Yes, and of course, with that said, we do have to shout out the people representing here on this brand new week. So make sure to give an extra special shout out to the sponsor of the week, John Luna.
Hell yeah. He's been repping it for our last 5 weeks on the sponsor of the week board. So big shout outs to him.
Yeah, and he's not just the sponsor of the week, he's also the membership gifting champion.
Yes, and that is 3 out of the last 4 weeks. I think outside of Chill Pill, and I think before that was Jet Li. Jet Li was last time. I think Chill Pill was a month ago. So outside of that, it's been John Luna repping the gifting board as well. But don't forget about Jet Li, because Jet Li's in the house. He's our Cash App king for this week, and he's also got 41 points on the stream boss. Huge shout outs to Jet Li, and also as we turn the page to a new week, we gotta start, kind of shouting out those in the lead. Now on the gifting side, there is no lead. It's our first stream of the week, literally. So there is no leader yet on the gifting membership side yet. We'll see what happens there. But when it comes to some drops, well, we had some, I'll say pre-week, pre-stream drops, but we had some memberships jumping in and out, like John Luna, who is currently in first place. He also dropped 2 $5 hollers, which gets us closer to our nightly goal of 10 $5 or higher super chats. That's basically a fun goal we're doing, but we'll tell you what the bonuses come with that when it comes to that. But John Luna, thank you. He's already got 2 out of 10 to reach that goal for tonight with the 2 $5 hollers pre-stream. He is in first place on the overall board, but don't forget there's others on the board too, like Calvin Richard in that silver level back in there, Tammy Soltis in the navy blue crew, and Skeptical Fan, who dropped tonight. He dropped a PayPal drop, as you can see here. One of the ways of attacking not just the overall board, he is on the overall board right now in 4th place, but it's a way of attacking the Cash App side through the PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo, or the Streamlabs. My point here is big shout outs to our current leader in the Cash App King. And as you guys know, this is the second drop, as I'm trying to make a mention here, second drop of the week for him, and is the leader. Skeptical Fan, always staying skeptical. Yes.
Huge shout out to the man, Skeptical Fan.
Yes, he said, "Here we choke." That was his $2.49 holla, and he also had a $2 and a $2 drop in PayPal on Monday. So again, he is right now in first place at almost 5 on it in the Cash App. So he's our current leader there. As you see, Jet Li 41 points in the stream boss, and on the overall board, John Luna is currently in the lead. So big shout outs to everybody on all these boards. But baby, there's other ways to drop the love here, not just through YouTube with the super chat or the thanks button, or jumping in the membership or gifting memberships. That's through YouTube. There's another way you can drop the love, like our After Dark style. If you know about After Dark, you got to know to be that. But there's 4 ways you can do that through the non-YouTube side, baby, which helps in the Cash App crown side.
And you have, of course, the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like the Super Chat does. Ooh. And you see it right here, Alonda Hanslu, much love,
welcome in.
With a $2 holler.
A J. Lou $2 drop. What did she say, baby?
She said, "I'm back. Love the Cowboys and F the Dolphins," right?
Yeah, that's what we say here.
Oh, just messing with you, Yolanda. I know the hubby is a Cowboy fan, so
yeah, I mean, and just so everyone knows, everyone hits that like, and I'm going to put her up on that board. She is currently, I think, in 5th place, if I'm not mistaken. They're right behind Skeptical Fan on the overall board. But again, I want to make sure we discuss all these things we're discussing here. There's also something we got to discuss. Is a new feature, and we had a great idea with you guys, like John Luna, kind of giving us an idea. As you know, we have our monthly membership raffle, right here, boom. Star level members, every star level member, there's like 4 different membership levels. A star level member gets 1 entry for this raffle a month, and the over everything level members get 2 raffle entries for this jersey raffle. And then you have weekly winners, so every sponsor of the week for that month gets put into the raffle. All right, as you can see here, as John Luna wins it, he wins the first. He's got the first raffle entry for next month, for the month of November or so, I guess you could say, to represent, with a bonus raffle entry for him and this week's winner, whoever it may be this week on Monday night. At the end of the show, we'll have another weekly winner, and that'll be another jersey raffle entry for the month of November. But another way to get in this, you don't have to be even in the membership to get into it, through the weekly winner side of things. But then there's another way you can actually get in there. And it is through this new thing that YouTube gave us. You can see it in the upper left of your chat area there. It has like a little bullseye. 2 out of 10. So on the regular nights of the week, we're going to have just, 10 is the goal here. If we hit 10, $5, that's teal. Now, you see the blue there, that's $2. So it has to be 5 or up. Any $5 or more counts as hitting the goal. And anybody who is part of that will be entered into a raffle. If we hit the goal, if we don't hit the goal, nothing happens. But like we hit Sunday, we hit the goal. We had every game day is 20 is the goal. We hit the goal on Sunday. That means those people that gave any kind of help to that goal will be added into a raffle for the entire week. And again, if you hit the goals throughout the week, we will also add those in there. And then we will raffle off all the chance. Again, if you drop 10 out of the 20, you're going to get 10 raffle entries, so to speak, right? Like John Luna, for example. Better chance to win. So the more you help towards the goal, the better chance you have to win a bonus raffle entry. And if you win that, for the week, you get thrown into this here monthly jersey raffle. So a lot of different ways to get in this thing. I know it took a while. And as we keep going, I'm sure people get the hang of it as every day and weeks go on. But until then, we'll keep it going and see who takes some of these things down. But yes, as we said this, we also shout out those that rep the top levels of our membership. By the way, we also, if you haven't checked it yet, guys, the new emojis for anybody in the navy blue, silver level, that star level, or over everything level, guys, check it out and drop them if you got them. The anti-Houston Texans emojis. They're in the house, in case you didn't know. And also in the house, we do our nightly shout out to those that rep on the star and over everything levels. Right. So, baby, without further ado,
thank you very much to Jet Li 44, John Luna, and over everything, Sea Bass and Chill Pill.
That's right. So, big shout outs to everybody in those levels. And, we'll do more on that in a minute. Baby, who's in the house tonight to talk some Cowboy football?
Yeah, of course. The biggest real shit.
Go Cowboys, F the Steelers.
A huge shout out to the man John Luna.
Hell yeah.
And yes, actually you're the one who helped us
the last 2 Sundays. So. Yeah, the first Sunday was a practice. Last Sunday we counted it, and because of John Luna and everybody else's ideas about using that as another way of, hey, you want to sneak in and try to get an entry in this thing. That's another way of doing it. Even if you have one $5 drop for the week, that's all you need is that's an entry basically. Yeah. For if we hit the goal. Now if we don't hit the goal, that's deleted. That's gone. It's, you lose. It's the way it goes. You hit the goal, you don't.
Sea Bass, much love, cracking me up, saying, you have the nerve to say after Cowboys when Tua is your quarterback.
She is a Dolphins fan. And her husband's a Cowboy fan. Big shout out to Alonda.
And big shout out to Alonda Honslu for being here. We have True Cowboy in the house. What's up, always? Here we go. Godless Manitoban, hello and hi.
Godless.
Xarxes, hopefully I said that right. And yes, McCarthy does have a terrible playbook, in case you didn't already realize that. Watching other teams basically run even basic-ass plays 10 times better than we do, yeah.
So are we caught up? Are we good?
No, let me make sure we have Jera Jones in here.
Of course.
Freedom first was first, always go Cowboys. Spoonie Dog, much love. We have Brandon J in the house here. Hello and hi. Yes. So, and as more people trickle in, I'll make sure to shout them out. But baby, let's dive into the Cowboy news, the NFL news, so we can dive into the Cowboy news.
Yeah, it's first we're going to go like American news first because, again, I know we weren't here, but happy Memorial Day, not Memorial Day, but Veterans Day, honoring all who served our military. So big shout outs there, which was, again, the Cowboys also put out their little, shout outs there as well on their page. So just wanted to start off with that. Now, I also want to start off with today's game. There was a game tonight, and it was a Thursday night game involving 2 NFC East teams that are actually fighting for first place. Not the Giants and not our Cowboys. It was the Eagles and it was the Commanders. Former Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, they're leading the Commanders, and they lost. They took the L, and again, Eagles kind of ran away with it at the end with Saquon Barkley, formerly of the Giants. The Eagles are now 8-2 in first place in the NFC East by a game and a half. They won 26-18 in Philly against the Washington Commanders. Commanders dropped to 7-4, second in NFC East. The biggest news story, I guess, of this game is Saquon Barkley is dominating this league this year. He's got over 1,100 yards, I think, rushing already for the year. He had 146 rushing yards in this game, 52 yards in the air, and 2 touchdowns. He had fantasy points, 33.8, but he also jumped over a guy backwards a couple weeks ago against Jacksonville. The guy is tearing shit up this year. Big shot. I mean, you got to give him credit, even though fuck Philly forever. Now, we got to look at this game here. We talked about Philly. They just beat us, and they just beat Washington literally in a span of 5 days.
Yeah.
So the Eagles, and I can't wait to get this off of our screen, trust me, because this should have been closed a while ago. But let me quickly go through some of the things about this game. I know some of the people also spoke after the game, a couple quotes we got to talk about, and of course, a couple of bigger issues, whether it's Micah versus Mike, or it is, CD versus the Curtains versus Jerry Jones. We're going to talk about that as well. But first, this Eagle game. Oh, it was horrible. Not this one tonight. This one on your screen, you see the Cowboys losing to them last week at home in Dallas. The Cowboys have lost all 4 of our home games this year so far. We have no touchdowns and 10 turnovers in our last 2 games at AT&T Stadium. 38-point loss to the Lions, and then a 28-point loss you see there to the Eagles. The Cowboys are the first team to have 5 turnovers in consecutive games at home since the 2012 Tennessee Titans. I mean, this embarrassment just continues to drip out of this team's asshole. Cowboys also have been outscored by 94 points in our 4 home losses. That's the most in NFL history by a team after making the playoffs the previous season. That's a fall off a cliff right there. Of course, we fell off with Dak, but he was already half off the cliff. This year, at least. The Cowboys also have lost 4 games in a row at home, of course.
Don't worry, Jerry and Steven will tell us shortly. There's still lots to be optimistic about.
Yeah, we still got 8 games, guys. Or is it 9? Yeah, 8 games. Now, listen, the Cowboys have lost 4 games in a row at home, but it is the 3rd time in the last decade, from 2015 to 2024. In the last decade, basically, the 3rd time. It was this time in 2020 when Dak broke his ankle, his leg, and in 2015 when Romo was out and we had no quarterback, Kellen Moore and Castle and Wheaton. But it's the 3rd time in the last decade the Cowboys have lost at least 4 consecutive games at home in a single season. Not just 4 games at home, 4 consecutive games at home in that same year. Cowboys have gone 24 offensive possessions, 24 drives. We have 24 offensive possessions without scoring a touchdown in AT&T Stadium.
Ouch.
At home. The last
I was going to say, when was the last time then?
The last time the Cowboys scored in Dallas was on the final drive against the Baltimore Ravens on September 22nd. When we were blown out, we tried to come back at the end and made it a 3-point game, and watermelon kick there for an onside kick and did not recover it. But that was after our second onside kick, which we did recover the first one. My point here is
that's kind of a depressing.
We were just desperate to get anything. We got a touchdown on a desperation mode with like minutes left in the game. Try to just make it closer, another onside kick. So on the season, the Cowboys have scored only 4 touchdowns in 45 possessions in all of our 4 home games. I mean, I know this hurts, but this is facts right here. The Cowboys have now lost 6 games, their most in a single season since 2020. All right? I'm talking not about a home. 6 games in a row. We've lost 6 games, the most we've lost in a single season since 2020, and we lost, I think, 10 in that year. I'm sorry, we lost 6 games, not in a row. 6 games, we're 3-6. So by losing 6, again, we know the last 3 years has been 12-5. We haven't lost 6 games since Dak broke his ankle, and it was a horrible year. That year we lost 10 games. And remember, even though we lost 6, we lost 10 games that year, we still have 8 games remaining. And I'd say 6 out of the 8 are tough. So, yeah. You guys feel what I'm saying? Just the end of this home disaster. Let me just throw this in there. At home, the last 5 games entering the 4th quarter for the Cowboys. Listen to this. This game against the Eagles, entering the 4th quarter, 28-6. And here's the final score, 34-6. The Lions, it was 37-9 entering the 4th quarter. Against the Ravens at home, all the games are last home games for us. The Ravens in the 4th quarter, entering the 4th quarter, it was 28-6. We ended that game 28-25, but again, onside kick galore. The Saints game, our first home game of the year, 41-19 entering the fourth quarter. And, of course, go back to last year's debacle in the playoffs. Embarrassment as our second seed at home against the Packers. In the fourth quarter last year, in the 2023 NFC wildcard game, it was 41-16. What I'm trying to say is our last 5 home games that we've played, playoffs or regular season, our last 5 home games, we were getting our asses ripped open in every single home game this year and the playoff game last year, entering the fourth quarter. That's obviously not a recipe for victory. That's a recipe for disaster. And that's what you're seeing in 2024 from your Dallas Cowboys. Now, any comments real quick about this game? Because I got a couple of stats to throw up, but not to throw up, basically. I'm going to throw up.
I mean,
but,
my personal thoughts, or do you...
No, the McCarthy or any post-game Philly quotes, like Philly, connected quotes.
I mean, obviously the biggest controversy, so to speak, as far as the post-game quotes and things that were said.
No, I just wanted to know about the game itself. That's all. Not about the issues. Just the Mike McCarthy. I think you had one quote from Mike McCarthy about this game. That's all I wanted right now. That's all I wanted. Sorry, baby. We're gonna get to those other things later. I know that's the meat of this, but we gotta get to this.
McCarthy did say, "I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. You can't win not taking care of the damn ball. 5 turnovers. It's just unacceptable. Our fans should be angry because that's not what we're about, and I've never seen anything like this."
Yeah. Again, if McCarthy hasn't seen anything like this. I mean, I don't know. We haven't either as Cowboy fans. It's been a while. Let me put it that way. So, not a very good look for the Cowboys. We know we had other complaints coming from the Cowboys team, whether it was Micah Parsons or CeeDee Lamb about curtains or about the coaching. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let me just get to the stats real quick. Guys, here's the Cowboys' Cooper Rush, how he did against the Eagles. 23 attempts, 13 completions, 57% completion percentage, 45 passing yards for Cooper Rush. He also had 2 rushing attempts for 2 rushing yards. Trash. Cooper Rush, you listen to this number. He had the 9th lowest EPA per dropback, per throw. The lowest, 9th worst for any quarterback with 20 or more passes in the game over the last 3 years. Negative .68 versus the Eagles. By the way, in case you didn't know, that ranks 1,307 out of 1,315.
Oh, wonderful.
As a performance in the last 3 years, this is the 9th worst performance by a quarterback in the last 3 years by far. So, again, as we said, Cooper Rush is not Dak Prescott, never will be, and he's not even close to it. Now, you talk about money comparison, you can say we can have a different discussion, but right now, obviously, we all know Dak Prescott's much better than Cooper Rush, but, this year, Dak's out, playing like shit, then he got hurt, out for the year. We'll talk about him in a minute, and then Cooper Rush takes over, and our offense ain't going anywhere. But Cooper Rush will be starting again this week, even if we saw a little bit of Trey Lance this past week against the Eagles. Trey Lance, against the Eagles, had 6 attempts for 4 completions. I mean, great, he completed 4 out of 6, but, 6 passes the entire game. 67% completion percentage, 21. Cooper Rush, 45 passing yards. He had 21 passing yards. He had 3 rushing attempts for 17 yards, which is probably the best thing he did from either quarterback was Trey Lance running the ball for 17 yards. And then you look at our receivers. Again, we had a total of like 55 yards passing. 60 yards passing. What more can you say about this? It's disaster. When you look at all our receivers, obviously, CeeDee Lamb got the most targets. 10 targets, 6 catches for 21 yards. Jake Ferguson, 5 targets for 4 catches, so 24 yards. Jalen Tolbert, 5 targets, 3 catches, 14 yards. Jalen Brooks, 1 catch, 4 yards. Rico Dowdle, 3 targets, 3 catches, 3 yards out of the backfield receiving. Luke Schoonmaker, 1 target, 0 catches. And Hunter Lipke, 1 target, 0 catches, also kind of banged up in this game. So, no receiving, no throwing. You look at CeeDee Lamb, you look at the receiving leaders through Week 10, not counting tonight's game. CeeDee Lamb is the 7th best yardage receiver in the NFL this year. 7th. And he's going to be going down farther. Because this is unfortunate for him. With Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, he ain't going to get any yards this year. He's going to be out of the top 10 in a week or 2. I'm just letting you guys know. And another little fact. Dallas Cowboy wide receivers, that includes CeeDee Lamb, all of our Cowboy receivers have had the second fewest average yards of separation only 3 yards of separation at the time of the pass arriving. And that is this year across the entire NFL. Again, the second fewest average yards of separation, which makes the quarterback's job extremely difficult. That's why you see Dak having struggles, one of the reasons why. But also why you're seeing everybody else struggling too, whoever's the quarterback for our team. So, and when you look at our receivers, the Cowboys, receivers had less than a yard of separation from the nearest defender on only 22.8% of our targets this year. Dak, Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, probably more McCarthy's system and the broken offensive line. But the point is, this offense will never get going. I don't care if you put Joe Montana in the motherfucker or Patrick Mahomes. This offense will not get going with those kind of numbers, with no separation from your receivers. This is the
How far do you think Joe Montana is going to get if every single route the receiver runs is a little crow route?
And everyone's covered. And it's predictable. And 20, basically almost 23% of the time, the Cowboys have a little bit over a yard of separation. That's nothing. And so that is the worst in the NFL. That is the worst separation from all of our receivers, including CeeDee Lamb, in the NFL.
It feels like too much of our success is dependent on the mistakes of the other teams more than it is dependent on us actually performing at a higher level. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's frustrating.
That's kind of the way of the season. Now, you look at running backs, right? The running game. We're going to talk about kind of a big statement by McCarthy, but we've been saying this since week 1 about it should not be it's not a thing we should need split carries here. Yeah. We need Rico getting most of the carries. I've been saying this since like week 3. He's a slightly above average running back. He needs more carries. The more carries he's been getting, he's been doing better. I mean,
agree. And in the games that he gets more carries, like the more carries you give him, the better he ends up looking.
Exactly. So, I mean, he gets better with more of that flow of the game.
Of course.
So, when you look at our running against the Eagles, Rico carried the ball only 12 times. We were down by, as you can see, a lot. He carried the ball 12 times for 53 yards, but he averaged not many yardage there, right? Not much yardage, but he averaged 4.4 yards per carry, which is by far our best running back. Zeke, 6 carries, 22 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. Trey Lance, 3 carries, 17 yards, 5.5 yards. It's a quarterback. Cooper Rush had 2 yards, 2 carries, averaging 1 per carry. And CeeDee Lamb had 1 carry for 3 yards. Rico, and you look at all the running backs and who received, I know we had some quarterback runs, and we had CD run the ball here, but out of all the running backs, Rico, Zeke, Hunter Lipke, whoever else, Deuce, Rico Dowdle was the only received 12 of the 18 carries for running backs against the Eagles. And I say that only 12 because it was only 18 running back carries to divvy out. And even though he had the majority of them, which makes sense, I don't know. I think I would have given more. In fact, on that goal line shit when Zeke fumbled, why? After he just fumbled once, you put him back again. So Rico needs even more carries than he's getting now. Rico right now ranks in the NFL third in third in team history for rushing success in a single season with a minimum of 80 attempts. That is fantastic. He's basically only people in front of him right now is DeMarco Murray and Marion Barber. That is it. You got behind Rico, you got Zeke a couple times, and Tony Pollard and some Murray, and even Emmitt Smith, 9th on the list when it comes to rushing success. He is the 3rd best in our history at this moment. Rushing success.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, first down, he's getting 3 yards, not 2 or less. He's getting 3 yards or more at success. On the second down, it depends on down and distance, but that's how you figure out success rate on running plays. And he, like I said, guys, would be having a great year if the Cowboys were in better position to do 2 things. To run the ball, of course, a better offensive line and quarterback and coaching, but if we were able to not be down so much, if we were able to run the ball a little more in the beginning of games and actually get points, then Rico Dowdle could be an effective running back for our team as a starter, right?
Oh, yeah.
So over the last 2 weeks, the Cowboys are averaging 5.2 yards per carry. That is the 3rd best in the NFL. Do you know why we're averaging 5.2 yards per carry with our running back? I know we have a shitty running game, but we're averaging 5.2 yards per carry the last 2 weeks. Why is that? Because they're giving the ball to Rico Dowdle 70-80% of the time. That is the reason why.
So there's a direct correlation between Rico getting the ball more.
Yes. And yards per carry. So we need those yards, but we also need to use more running back. We cannot go down 30-10 in the 4th quarter. We were down by what? We were down by a lot basically in the 3rd quarter. Every game we let go of the 3rd quarter, and then it makes our running game non-existent. Now all this, to me, adds up to, especially on offense, it all adds up to the big bubble. and his issues. That's Mike McCarthy. So right now, there's a lot of betting. Bet Online has odds of who's going to replace Mike McCarthy. Right now, 5th on this list, Cliff Kingsbury. Okay. 4th on the list, Brian Flores. 3rd, Bill Belichick. 2nd, Ben Johnson, and from the Eagles. And 1st, Mike Vrabel. He's the leader right now to replace Mike McCarthy whenever that day comes. When it comes to our offense, our projected starters for next year, just listen to this real quick. On the offensive line, of course, left tackle Guyton, our rookie, right?
Yeah.
So, left guard is Tyler Smith, of course. Cooper Beebe, the rookie, at center.
Okay.
At right guard, it's Zach Martin. But what if it's not Zach Martin? It's going to be TJ Bass. And then right tackle is Terrence Steele. I'm hearing we might make him a post June 1st cut. So we might even have a right tackle. It might be Austin Richards.
I know, with everything else going on the O line,
that'd be the worst thing that could happen.
Throwing out Terrence Steele is the right move. But we'll have to see.
I'll talk about that in a minute. But Terrence Steele is part of the money saving situation for this offseason. Is he worth keeping as a right tackle? A lot of people say no. I know a couple years ago I would have said no. Then last couple of years I would say all right, but the ACL thing bothered me, and now we're looking like, he's not gonna be able to. I mean, I don't know if he's ever gonna be anything to what he was in his best 2 years that he had with the Cowboys. So our offensive line is young and could be getting younger. You have tight end, of course. Ferguson is in the mix. CeeDee Lamb at receiver. Dak Prescott's the quarterback. But then what about the other receiver spots? Tolbert? Question mark? Like, who else? At running back? Question mark. Rico Dowdle? What? So a lot of question marks there. And when it comes to Tyler Guyton, Stephen Jones actually made a comment after the game about Tyler Guyton's shoulder. He said he should be good to go against Houston this week. And he said he was pleased. And a lot of people actually gave Austin Richards, number 76, a lot of great reviews and great grades, you can say, in a fill-in role.
He mentioned his name not even a single time, basically.
Yeah, that means he did pretty good.
He actually did a pretty solid job.
Yep.
Which he did.
Yeah. So
it's nice to finally see. Okay, one small positive thing we can say, like we were seeing some development somewhere.
Now, Austin Richards, the thing about him, Austin Richards, he can play guard, but he also plays. He starts at right tackle. That's what he did most of his career. But the Cowboys put him at left tackle because they want to see if he could be a swing tackle for the Cowboys. But the thing I would like to see before we make any moves on Terrence Steele is let's see Austin Richards on the right side. We know that's his better spot. And if he did good on the left side, the right side's probably going to be better for him. But if before we let go of someone like Terrence Steele...
Yeah, we can't afford to make an assumption here.
Yeah, we got to see it, right? So I think that's going to come a little later in the season. And Terrence Steele, who's injury prone, we know about the torn ACL, but he does play every single snap. And he got through it last year that way. So we'll see what happens with Terrence Steele entering 2025. But I do want to go back to this game against Philly. And another injury, which we got to bring up, and it was scary. It was Mr. DeMarvion Overshown. Remember when Overshown got hurt? We thought it was an injury, a major injury. We heard he was questionable to come back to the game. So that was great news. I don't know if he came back, but it was great news to see that he almost came back. Well, we got the information on what is wrong with Overshown, guys. And he's dealing with bursitis, which is a great... Yeah, bursitis is a great, I guess you could say, a great, injury to have when it could have been out for the year with a torn ligament. Yeah. So bursitis, he avoided a significant injury. DeMarvion Overshown, he left the game after landing on his knee. He landed on his knee, just in case you guys were wondering. It was a non-injury kind of contact,
it was a non-contact injury.
But he fell on his knee. It wasn't like he twisted his knee and then he dropped. So he fell on his knee, kind of bruised his knee, and now he's dealing with bursitis in his right knee. That was after x-rays were done. They were all negative. He'll have treatment and he'll have a little rehab, but is not significant at all. Ian Rappaport noted that the injury, it's great to see the fact that it's nothing that he's missing any kind of season or anything like that. There is no mention of whether or not he will miss any time yet initially. But that's something the Cowboys this week we're going to figure out, and we'll tell you more about that in a minute. But I will say this. Overshown has been, he has a little bit more time to get ready for the next game, obviously, an extra day with the game being on Monday night against the Texans. So, that's one good news there. And Stephen Jones also spoke about Overshown's injury. On the knee injury to Overshown, he said this, quote, "It looks like we have a great shot at having him back for this week." So DeMarvion Overshown.
That is some of the best news we could have gotten.
Great news.
that game.
Great news that we might see him play again, literally back, this week. But again, with this blown season, I don't want to see him blow any of his knees out. So I hope he plays like he does, keeps learning, and please keeps doing good, and please don't get hurt. The highest graded Cowboys in Week 10 against the Eagles, Micah Parsons. Number 1 graded guy, and he played like it. 90.5 grade. Then Trayvon Diggs, 77.9. Second best graded guy. So our 2 top guys, Micah and Trayvon Diggs, finally came to play. At least they came to play on defense. Chauncey Golston had a great game. Another great game. He's going to be a guy that we definitely have to keep in the rotation of pass rushers. 76.6 for him. Rico Dowdle was our highest offensive rated player with a 73.8, and CeeDee Lamb is 69.7. But let's stick on defense for a second here and kind of talk about the guy who had basically the best player on our defense once again, maybe, in the last 4 years for us. They're Micah Parsons, guys. Listen to this. Among all defensive players in Week 10, with a minimum of 20% of the snaps, he had a 90.5 grade. That was ranked 6th. A 92.1 pass rush grade. That was ranked 1st. 2 sacks, that was tied for 2nd this week. 5 pressures, tied for 10th. And 1 forced fumble, tied for 2nd. Domination there from Micah. At least we see good news there. How about Trayvon Diggs? Versus the Eagles, Trayvon Diggs had an 82 coverage grade. PFF analytical coverage. Fantastic there. Okay. On 30 coverage snaps. It wasn't like he just did like 10 snaps. He actually had a lot of coverage snaps. He allowed 0 receptions. He, of course, got that interception in the end zone, right? And he allowed a 0.0 passer rating against him, which means nothing was done against him. He had a lockdown status against the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. So at least we got a little bit of bright spots there. That's all I got left. Bright spots on the defense there. You look at our projected 2025 team, though. You got DeMarcus. You got Micah Parsons, and I guess maybe DeMarcus Lawrence on the other side. But who's the 3 tech? Who's the nose tackle? Osa, Mozzie, and then a linebacker. There's no Kendricks next year. You're going to Overshown. You're going to have Liu Fao in there. And so Overshown, Liu Fao going to take over with Damone Clark being the 3rd guy there. And at cornerback, you got, of course, Trayvon Diggs. You're going to have Deron Bland back next year. Who knows about the nickel cornerback? Jordan Lewis might not be here next year. And the safeties, Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson also maybe not here next year. So, Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas. I'm just saying, there's a lot of holes on both sides of this team, offense and defense.
Oh, yeah.
So, I just wanted to give everybody a perspective there of everything. Now, I'm going to get to the first topic here of discussion. And if you look at our thumbnail, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's the goddamn sun in the eyes of our players. We've been bitching about this for a very, very long time here on My Cowboys Family. Jerry Jones, with his sunglasses on, he's chilling. But why is it that we cannot get this fucking dumbass owner / general manager of our Dallas Cowboy team? Why can't we get him to listen to the players, to us fans, to everybody in the fucking world that says, put up some curtains? After the game, I know CeeDee Lamb had some words to say about that, right?
So CeeDee Lamb had this to say about the sun at AT&T Stadium, because if you guys remember, there was a touchdown pass that he dropped, or he was wide open.
That's this one right here.
Cooper Rush hit him, guys.
See the ball behind him? He lost track of the ball in the air.
It almost physically hurts.
That's why, because of that big ball of sun in the air.
And CD even straight up said it. I couldn't see the ball. I couldn't see the ball at all because of the sun. When he was asked, are you in favor of curtains? He said yes, 1,000%. He was also asked, well, have you talked to Jerry Jones about that? And he said, well, y'all are doing my job right now. A few players chimed in on social media, former Cowboy players like Ben DiNucci, basically confirming what CeeDee Lamb said, saying, yeah, not only is it a problem, we joked and talked shit about it.
The players talk shit about the fact that Jerry Jones is so dumb, he don't put up fucking curtains.
And Jerry's comments, by the way, this is what he actually had to say when he was asked again, post-game, about the curtains. And remember,
about CD's comments and everything.
In a game where the sun just directly cost us
a touchdown. Yeah.
Jerry said, by the way, we know where the sun is going to be when we decide to flip the coin or not. We do know where the damn sun is going to be in our own stadium.
Is that all he had to say? I know he was talking about tearing shit down, too.
He basically said, like, what do you want me to do? Tear down the stadium, build a whole brand new stadium?
You have to do that you have to do that to put up curtains, schmucko.
Although I will say, a few reporters did comment saying that the initial plan when AT&T Stadium was built was that there was going to be some kind of resident, like, you know, like housing, apartments, types of things like around the stadium that were going to block out the sun.
Yeah, but also, I think you made it clear that Jerry Jones purposely built the stadium this way so you can see the sun going to the stadium.
Yes, he did.
So Jerry Jones feeding us a bunch of bullshit, and CeeDee Lamb and the rest of the team, we got to take it. You know, I want to say something about the situation. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys had played 58 times in the sun when we're in that 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. time slot.
Yeah, because we get that time slot quite a bit.
Right, when we get that time slot, guys, here you want some stats about the sun? In that 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. time slot, the afternoon game, not the early game, the later game, the Cowboys have played 58 games in this stadium, quote unquote, in the sun. When it's an early game at 12, you don't get the sun. When it's a night game, obviously, you know, but you get that 3 o'clock game, that's the 3:30 game, that's the sun in your eyes when the sun starts to, you know, set and you get almost a halftime. So in these games, right, in these 58 games, on those 58 games, 38 of those games were against teams that finished 500 or better. So 20 games were easier, 38 were harder, okay? Dallas is 12-26, 12 wins and 26 losses in those games at AT&T Stadium against teams that finished 500 or better. Against the good teams, we only won 12 games at home against the good teams. Now, when you have a stadium in your hometown, it should give you an advantage to win even against harder teams, right? It's not making a difference for the Cowboys. It's not making a difference for the Cowboys to have this quote-unquote advantage at home that Jerry loves to boast about. So again, the sun is not an advantage against good teams or an advantage for us in any way. So Jerry Jones is a schmuck. Even Kellen Moore, after the game against the Eagles, he admitted that the curtains in the sun is a problem.
Oh my gosh.
That is Kellen Moore saying this. Now, when your own players, notably CeeDee Lamb and others, but CeeDee Lamb cite the sun and the lack of curtains as a factor, maybe the complaint has merit. Maybe it should be given a little bit more careful consideration by Jerry Jones. But Jerry Jones is so fucking stubborn, so fucking just stuck in his dumbass, old-ass ways. And it's not even an old-ass thing. This is a common sense. He wants to win his way. That means sun in the eyes, baby. Burn those fucking eyeballs out. He don't give a shit. So Jerry Jones fucking us in every way possible. Again, any decision to put curtains up, what would that mean? If we actually put up curtains at this point, what would that mean?
I guess that would mean Jerry would have to admit that he fucked up.
Yes,
he was wrong.
He was wrong about something. We've seen this time and time again, right? Signing Zeke, threatening radio hosts, the curtain issue, the sun. He's unwilling to change. He's unwilling to be common sense. He's just stubborn, rich, and entitled. And it's ruining our team for 28, now 20. This is our 29th year of suffering. The only thing that's good about that is the Niners have 30 years of suffering. Now, I'm going to say also another thing, guys. In the press conference the next day with McCarthy and the coaches, by the way, the coordinators, there was something put up in the press conference to block the sun from being directly in the coaches' eyes as they spoke. At a fucking press conference, and if you've been to the Star of the Tour, you know what that room looks like. They put up a blinder, I don't know if the press did it to like troll the Cowboys, but troll away, as far as I'm concerned, because I think that's a fucking funny thing there. When the news conference ended, they take down this sun blocker. So again, leave it to the media once again and kind of take care of things for the coaches, the TV guys, doing great work in that sense, and with the sun blocker up, while Jerry Jones too cheap to put up and too stubborn to put up curtains to help his own team. Any quick comments about the curtains from the family, from the people in the chat?
I mean, Raul said it. Jerry will never change. Stubborn as hell.
Very, very, very.
He also said they put curtains up for concerts and fights, but why not for Cowboy games?
Exactly. Why?
Scorpio said he purposely put the windows in the stadium to blind other teams, but it really only messes with our players.
Teams come in and prepare for that. We don't prepare for our own sun.
So,
it's crazy.
Just frustrating. Double R, much love, saying, my opinion, the fans and the Cowboys team is fucked till Jerry steps down from GM. Yeah,
and again, that's the key. He can stay owner and do the clown show. Just get off the GM fucking role. Get out of that fucking shit and don't give it to Steven. Jerry fucking Jones, baby, during the what was the embarrassment that happened in that game the other day? That something happened. Was there a fumble? Oh yeah, when we put Zeke in there and he fumbled the ball. Do you guys know what was happening during that time? Like literally right before that, they were doing a tribute to Tom Landry in the overhead, screen. And Jerry Jones couldn't get that right. The legendary coach Tom Landry, which was our coach, as it says on the board there, from 1960 to 1988, they spelled his name Tom Laundry. Laundry. If that ain't Jerry Jones and a catastrophe of a clown show that we have with this team, not that star. The star is great. It's the people running this show. It's the clown show. These fuck asses. They put up Tom Landry's name in the middle as a tribute, and they spelled his name Tom Laundry. If you don't believe me, guys, search it up anywhere you want. You'll see it. It's unfucking believable. This is a clown show, an embarrassment, and it is a colossal, just barrel full of fucking assholes. And you know what? After the game, wasn't there a quote, if I recall, by Micah Parsons complaining about... No one's gonna complain about Jerry, because when you have a team, you can complain about anyone you want and just run to the head coach, run past the head coach and go to the owner, like Micah or Dak or these guys, the guys that get paid CD. Mm-hmm. They have the authority to basically overstep authority and go to Jerry. They're friends. They're never gonna call them out. But Micah Parsons called out kind of just like, hey, I like to play with my teammate. I feel bad for my teammates. He had a quote, I think, a big quote about. That kind of started off a kind of a firestorm of things. So Micah Parsons, after the game, was in the locker room, was asked a question about Mike McCarthy leaving, and how do you feel about that? And he gave an answer about that kind of caused him some criticism. So what did Micah say when it came to his thoughts on McCarthy's coaching career going forward?
Well, I thought we had already mentioned this. But sure. Okay.
I know we mentioned it, but we mentioned it in passing at the end of the stream. We need to connect the dots here. So, unfortunately, what Micah said was something in the as you find that something in the words of basically.
He expressed his thoughts and sympathies for the players on the team. Really, because the reporter
the question
was
about Mike.
Again, the reporter asked him, what do you tell people who are wondering if McCarthy is going to be your coach next year? He said, oh, that's above my pay grade if Mike is coaching next year. Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. The guys I kind of feel bad for are the vets like Zach Martin, who might be in their last year or close to it. That's who I want to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do big things with legends like that and guys that put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did.
Now, what happened there? I want to clarify something. We never read that. I know that for sure because that happened way after we went offline on the other night. And we haven't been on since then. So that's the first time we actually heard it here on this channel. And I wanted to clarify that. Initially, when you hear it and the tone and everything, it does sound like he's kind of taking a shot at McCarthy. But when you really listen to kind of like maybe the question, the way it was asked, I think Jory Epstein asked the question. It was more talking about the blood, sweat, and tears of the players that are going to be leaving, and the players' careers are short. They have a short window to hit when it's hot. It's strike when the iron's hot. Coaches can come back and they can coach from fucking 25 years old till 75 years old.
But your play time on the field is obviously limited now. To be fair, I don't think the comments were obviously meant the way that a lot of people took them, but when you hear the whole context, even I have to admit, Micah sounded a little snippy, a little bitchy, a little something there. So I can understand why people took it the wrong way.
Well, and you know what Micah said? Literally, not yet. Literally right after that comment, and then the next morning on all the shows, they ran with that and talked a lot of shit about Micah about that, and I'll say what Micah said in a minute. Before even Mike McCarthy got a chance to speak on this. But first, we got the man Double R with that $2 holler, his 20th super chat. It does not hit the goal. We're still 8 away from hitting the goal, but the $2 holler puts him on the board, takes Jet Li to 37 points, and what did Double R have to say?
This weekend was an embarrassment to us true fans.
Yep, and true fans are the ones that stay around good, bad, or ugly, win, lose, or draw. We're here for life. It's Cowboys for life.
Definitely
even when it
a
hurts.
paper bag type of game.
Yeah, you can see it in our thumbnail. Those paper bags by our Cowboy fans being worn all over the place.
But you know what? Where are all those real Cowboy fans? You guys are right here with us.
Stand up. That's what we're going to do.
You know it. So, kind of rolling back. So, like we said, so Micah said that. Obviously, these comments went viral. People started sharing their comments and things like that. Yeah, but obviously, once McCarthy...
Okay. No, I was going to say, but McCarthy was...
ahead.
The next day, so that night, I mean, I know you're kind of out of the loop here when it comes to this, but after Micah said that, the next day, before Mike McCarthy was asked anything about this, the next day, Micah was already hearing on the ESPNs and on FS1s all the shit talking about Micah is this. Micah fucking called out his coach, blah, blah, blah. So Micah immediately took to the Twitter waves, and he also went on to his BR report. And he said a couple of things. He said this, quote, "You would think guys who played and coached the sport would have better journalism. But I was very wrong. They're trying to use my name, my image, and likeness with the Dallas Cowboys to continue to tear the beautiful organization with drama and bad media attentions. Be better." And he said, at Get Up ESPN, he said, laugh out loud, damn, yeah, I'm just going to eat the fine from now on. Because the way that you all twist words and flip them around for context is nasty work. And again, what Micah Parsons said on his Bleacher Report show was that he was not trying to diss Mike McCarthy. He was showing empathy for his veteran teammates who will never get a chance to win a Super Bowl. Guys like Zach Martin, who may be gone next year because he's retiring. So that's what Micah did before anyone spoke about this situation. And then on Monday, after all this morning stuff happened, then Mike McCarthy got to take over the room and come in there and speak on this Micah Parsons comment situation about, the coaching diss that everyone was making a big deal about. So what did Mike McCarthy kind of say?
Yeah, and McCarthy said that he spoke to Micah about those comments, saying that they, quote, handled things like men. And he even reiterated Micah's point there that the intent was never to question Mike McCarthy or him as the coach.
Right. It was about showing sympathy to
fully about showing sympathy to the players, and honestly, this actually forced Zach Martin to comment about his potential future. And we're not going to touch on it right this second. I'm just saying that, because Micah Parsons made it sound like Zach Martin's hanging up his cleats tomorrow, obviously a lot of reporters were asking Zach Martin, like, hey, do you want me to just say it now?
Yeah, because it kind of flows together. Because even though Micah's comments, and they iron it out, Mike McCarthy and Micah Parsons, you still have questions that arose about Zach Martin, right? So what did Zach Martin say about all this?
He did say he didn't want to get into Micah's comments too much, but that he's wanted to win since since he started playing football. But he said it, I want to win every week. I don't think if you ask any guy in this locker room that they wouldn't be saying that they're trying to win every week. So yeah, you play for the guys in the locker room, right? I think that's kind of what he was saying. You want to play for the guys in the locker room that you go to work with every day. That's nothing to change no matter what the circumstances are. But of course, he was asked, so what are your feelings or thoughts on your football future? He said, taking it 1 week at a time, my guy. So obviously, I think a pretty diplomatic answer, but we all know...
Opens up the door, though,
that...
Not much time for Zach Martin.
If I'm Zach Martin, I'm guessing that he'll evaluate how he feels at the end of this season and see if it's worth playing another season. Yeah. And so I guess it also depends on how much hope you think that there is for the Cowboys actually succeeding, possibly.
Well, again, I think a lot of that plays into this. Zach Martin, he answered the questions there, and honestly, he might get another year or two in this thing. I don't know. Day by day. By the way, I want to shout out Brandon J., who dropped a 70-cent PayPal.
Woo, thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, big shout out to him. Although he's not in the lead, still skeptical fan in the lead. He is the second place on the board on the Cash App side, and he is seventh place on our overall board for this week so far. Ooh. So, anyways, I'll shut up.
And the final thing I'll say here is just even Jerry chimed in about Micah's comments, saying no matter how it sounded, it was not meant as a critique on the coaches or staff. It was meant as a concern for the veteran players such as Zach Martin. Micah does not feel a lack of appreciation for our head coach, Mike. So, again, you've heard it from Micah, you heard it from McCarthy, you heard it from Jerry, you've heard it from the reporters. Like, I have to admit, I do think this is one of those things where even the reporter, like the initial people reporting on it themselves, I don't think they were doing it to try and
create
a problem there. So, because even they said that they didn't take it in that way.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, and you look at our recap of this game against the Eagles, as you see Micah, 2 sacks against Hurts, caused a fumble. I mean, the best player on our team, Micah Parsons. And he's out there, and I say best player on our team, I guess Brandon Aubrey, but Micah Parsons is the best player in our defense. You see him out there wrecking havoc. He just wants to win. And they iron this thing out. But you see the biggest issues, Micah there versus Mike McCarthy, right? Jerry Jones, the shades on, versus the Sun and our entire team who wants the Sun to be covered up by the curtain. So the major issues there, and, of course, we got Rico Dowdle. We'll talk about him and our quarterback tree here of 3 guys. We'll talk about that. But the major issue from this game, the Sun and Mike McCarthy versus Micah Parsons. And that's kind of, I think we touched on all bases there on that. I do want to keep it moving on to this week's game as we get to the preview of the injuries and finish up this stream here on My Cowboys Family. So get your last comments, your last thoughts, and don't forget to hit the like button for the stream, hit subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to all videos to make sure you don't miss any of our live streams or posted videos, and of course game day live stream reactions. And then we got the Discord. Jump in that and join the fun. 365, 24/7, 365. And, of course, on X, Twitter, social media, at My Cowboys Family. And, again, membership is in the house. We got the winners in the house here. Guys like John Luna, sponsor of the week. John Luna, the gifting champion. Jet Li, 44, 37 points on the stream boss. And Jet Li, the Cash App king. But the leaders this week, Skeptical Fan trying to get that Cash App crown. John Luna in the lead for a back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys against the Texans this week. That's his team, by the way, the Houston Texans. And no gifting leader because there's no gifting memberships yet as of this week. Not yet. We'll see what happens. A lot of things up for grabs. And one last thing I want to shout out: the goals, the new thing we got from YouTube. We got if we hit. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You guys can get a chance to get into this raffle, a monthly raffle, with a bonus raffle entry. If you're lucky enough to be every week, every time we hit the goal, we're gonna take. Let's say somebody put in 3 and somebody else put in 2 towards the goal. And I mean hitting the $5 teal drops or higher. When you see that hit, you see that number go from it'll go from 1 to 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10. Right now we're at 2 out of 10 because of John Luna. But let's say we don't hit 10. Don't worry about it. Today. It's a wash. It's erased. But let's say tomorrow we're live and you guys hit the 10 out of 10. Whoever helped get to that 10 out of 10 will be entered into a raffle. And if you're the winner of that raffle, you will be entered into the big raffle that's a extra bonus raffle you'll be entered for our monthly jersey, sewn and stitch, fantastic raffle. And again, you don't have to be part of the membership to get into that. So big shout outs to anybody who gets to that goal. We hit that goal twice with big help from John Luna, and he's got a lot of entries, you can say, to try to win an extra bonus raffle entry from Sunday. But we got today, we got Saturday, and then Monday before we will find out who wins the bonus raffle entry for this week. Anyways, we'll get into that. I just wanted to make sure everyone knows we still got time, but not much, before the end of this stream to hit that goal. So anyways, on that note, let's get to this week of Cowboy football. All right, and it's quicker because we kind of know what's happening. Let's start off maybe with Dak Prescott. Yeah, I know we haven't talked about Dak that much, but remember, he's injured. He was going to go on IR. He's getting surgery. We knew all this stuff was coming. And it's, again, earlier this week, Dak Prescott scheduled to undergo surgery yesterday, on Wednesday, on his injured hamstring. According to Jerry Jones, during his interview on Tuesday, he said this to 105.3 The Fan, that Dak Prescott will be out for the season. So this already, from Sunday, where it was like a question mark.
No, we already knew this.
Yeah, we kind of knew it was happening, but now, it was a confirmation from Jerry on Tuesday. So, and like Jerry Jones said, it's going to be Cooper Rush and maybe Trey Lance the rest of the way for the Cowboys. Dak will rehab for a 2025 return. And yes, for those that think that Dak is gone, yeah, I'm just saying, whether you like him or hate him, Dak is not going to be gone for at least the next couple of years. That's just the way it is. For those that hear people say Dak's going to be traded, can't trade, no trade clause. For those people who say Dak's going to be cut, can't cut Dak this year, next year. So that's stupid. To even think about Dak not being here in the next couple of years, fooling yourselves. Accept it, deal with it, and hope for the best with it. Now, the Cowboys also decided to change it up a little bit, baby. You know who they signed? Oh, we made a big move. we signed a new quarterback named Will Grier.
Woo!
Old Will Grier.
Super Bowl time.
You got Super Bowl. So, guys, the Cowboys officially signed Will Grier to the practice squad. He returns to the Cowboys. He started in Carolina, came to the Cowboys for a couple of years. He couldn't really develop them. He was all right. I mean, I think he's maybe better than Cooper Rush and Trey Lance, honestly. So, he was released, I think, after we got Trey Lance on his team. He was released in August 2023 after we traded for Trey Lance. Released Will Grier. He went to a couple of teams, came back to the Cowboys now. In the corresponding move on our practice squad, we signed Will Grier. We released defensive back, corner safety, Imani Johnson, undrafted rookie this year from the practice squad. That's the move we made to get Will Grier on there. So the Cowboys now have, and let me just take Dak off for a second, and let's get the thumbnail on. You see our quarterbacks, right? That's our stockpile of quarterback guys. Wow, it scares everybody, I know. The Cowboys right now have with now 3 quarterbacks officially on our active roster, or from practice, not active roster, but our full, practice squad and 53-man roster. 3 quarterbacks as Will Grier now joins the team, or I should say rejoins the team. Cowboys released him after getting Trey Lance in 2023, but Will Grier in the practice squad, just over a year removed from that 31-16 preseason victory for the Cowboys over the Raiders that he kind of helped lead them to. That was his last kind of, last time he played for the Cowboys before we released him. Will Grier, by the way, ended up getting, now you see him here, he's wearing number 15, but let's pretend it's 16 because that's the number he got.
Okay.
Now, who wore 16 this last week? Practice squad wide receiver Jalen Cropper.
Oh. Who
was upgraded, was elevated.
Yeah, we did elevate him.
He was wearing 16. No, he got that number ripped away. Now it's been given to Trey Lance. There's not any quarterback numbers left. So he had to kind of get number 16. Not sure what number Cropper's getting. I'm sure he'll have 16 in practice. But if he gets elevated, he might have to be like number 80 something.
I thought you could have whatever number you wanted anyway.
What do you mean?
You don't have to stick with the numbers for your position.
No, you can't. I think the quarterbacks have a limit.
Okay.
I think they can't get like 47 or something like
Okay.
that. But my point is that the receivers can get a lot more options. Quarterbacks have to get in the 0 to or 1 through. Yeah, I say 0 through 19. I think is the limit for the quarterback. So again, Will Grier back on the team, number 16 on the practice squad. Not many quarterback numbers available, so he takes number 16 from Jalen Cropper, or at least they give him number 16 from Jalen Cropper. Now, I do want to go back to a couple quick things here about the injury situations from all our players and the big signings and deals from our players. And let me just say this. First off, fuck the clown show. That's them right there. That's number 1. Number 2, let's talk about Dak Prescott. And I'm going to also talk about CeeDee Lamb. Because let me say this, baby. Listen to this. We know Dak, by the way, on Wednesday, Dak Prescott underwent surgery yesterday for his hamstring injury. He had the surgery done in New York on Wednesday. The procedure went well, which is great news. And so he's going to rehab.
On the road to recovery.
The rehab tour for 2025 is back there. Now, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Even though people right now are screaming out there, they're crying. Because CeeDee Lamb, they're saying CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott are going to take up 47% of our cap next year. Which, at this moment, it is true. But as any person that has any kind of NFL football knowledge about what goes on in the offseason knows, the Cowboys have already a self-included button in all of these contracts that they hit.
That number isn't going to stay at that spot.
Once the simple, and it's not the player's choices. It's not CeeDee Lamb's call. It's not Dak Prescott's call. It's the Joneses call. Once the Joneses make a call, not a call, but decide, okay, let's hit the restructure button, it's automatic. So that what happens there, guys, Dak Prescott's contract will be restructured in 2025, and so will CeeDee Lamb's contract will be restructured. Like they were built to do. That is part of the contract. The way the contracts are built is to be restructured. And after that is done, it's going to be under both CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott's contract will take up less than 25% of the cap next year. That's still a lot, but it's not 47%. It's literally half. I'll
take a half reduction.
And since and again that will still get pushed to those voidable dummy years we have at the end of the contracts for both guys. But Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys aren't going to be paying many other players next year. Finally, right?
Okay, sorry.
No, I was going to say one thing. So we will still have, after Dak Prescott's restructure and CeeDee Lamb's restructure, the Cowboys will probably, or can, again, you know the Joneses, how they do the clown show, and the cap, we don't have that much money in the cap. The pie is a lie, how much pie they have left. But after Dak and CeeDee Lamb's restructures, the Cowboys will have around $100 million open in cap money after restructures. So, can the Cowboys go get players? Even they got guys that are getting paid like Trayvon Diggs, like Zach Martin, like Dak Prescott, like CeeDee Lamb. Even after all these things, we still will have around $100 million open on the contract on the salary cap next year because we don't have any other really major contracts to pay off, which means we can get players. But will they? Will these clowns do that? That's the big question. And, you know, another guy we can open up even more room with is someone named, and I said this earlier, Terrence Steele, who to me is a litmus test for the seriousness of this fucking front office, this clown show. And it's not very serious when you see me putting a picture like this up. But to me, again, are we really serious about winning? We know the Joneses are not. They just want to be competitive. Because to me, Terrence Steele is like represents the we like our guys kind of signing. So again, if the Cowboys do release Terrence Steele, it's going to have to be a post-June 1st cut to free up more money and get better at right tackle. But that's just a little side note there. Well, the contracts, Dak, CD, Terrence Steele. I mean, even without Terrence Steele, we keep him. We still could have close to $100 million open next year. But the question for the clown show is, will they spend it on anybody? Will they say that Dak and CD and Micah, we need to make money for them still?
Yeah, will we actually do anything with that?
And you know that usually goes. That's usually a big fucking no. So I don't even believe that. I don't care what the Jones. I know what we can do. I know what we probably won't end up doing. So, and that means going after actual players that will help us win a Super Bowl. Now, as we enter this week against the Houston Texans, I got to bring up again. You guys can. Have we dropped our funny logos yet today? I don't know if we have.
I mean, I did.
There we go. Yep, I'm gonna do them here again, just the hell of it. I love them. I love these logos because they're always, you always can just shove it in Eastside Harold's face or whoever is out there. Drop them like it's hot if you got them. But as we get ready for this game, and I like to put this picture up here because hopefully that's the way they'll be looking after this game, right, baby? With their hand over their face, some tears in their eyes. The Cowboys, yeah, but right now, even if we win this game, the Cowboys face a daunting task in making the playoffs. Right now, with a record of 3-6 for the Cowboys after suffering a fourth consecutive loss last week at home and losing all our home games, the chances of the Cowboys making the playoffs are slimmer than it's ever been in a while. Let me put it that way. As it stands, the Cowboys have just a 3% chance of making it to the playoffs. So in case you're wondering, I have my hand over my face right now. This year's done, guys. At 3%, we got to run the table and have everybody else lose. That's not going to happen. So this is the worst odds we've seen in 4 years. Since the last 3 years, we were 12-5 for 3 consecutive years. But for the sake of being thorough, 3% is the chance we have left. We're not out of the playoffs, but in a couple weeks, we're out of the playoffs, and we're looking for a top 5 to 3 pick in the draft. And that means every round it's a top 5 to 3 pick, which would be great, right? So, again, I do want to say this something just to kick off this Houston Texans thing. This is really interesting to me, and the Texans haven't been around that long. But no, and this goes back to Jason Witten, no Dallas Cowboy tight end has ever caught a touchdown against the Houston Texans. I did not ever know that.
That's kind of crazy.
That is insanities. And that means this guy right here, Jake Ferguson, Fergalicious, whatever you want to call him, baby. Whether we win or lose, don't really matter anymore. But he can make history, being the first tight end to make, or it could be Schoonmaker. I mean,
but these are the types of things that we can hold on to.
Yeah, Brandon Aubrey breaking the record. You know, Trey Lance, can he get us a draft pick if he plays well enough? Jake Ferguson, can he get a touchdown for the first time? Any tight end against the Texans in our history? I'm just throwing it out there. Let's have some fun with it, right?
I'm pretty sure Schoonmaker has had like 5 snaps in the last 3 games.
He's had more penalties than snaps, I think. This fucking
I think
guy.
so,
On
actually.
offense, at least. So, again, I don't know who else spoke today. I don't know if you hit up everybody yet that had to speak. But
I mean, we mainly heard from our front office and Mike McCarthy throughout this week on a few different things. I don't know if you want me to...
Well, I was going to get started with kind of some of the stuff from this week. I don't know if they're talking about last week's game or this upcoming week's kind of situation.
It's fine. You go ahead and start first because most of my stuff is more just them sharing their thoughts on certain things.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, here's what we're going to do. For this game upcoming, guys, Mike McCarthy kind of went over some of the points of what we're seeing for this week, since every day is kind of pushed forward a little bit more because this week it's we don't have practice really. Wednesday was like a walkthrough kind of deal. Thursday today was our first real practice. So what we know is yesterday and today Tyler Smith is banged up. Tyler Smith worked out with. Let me put Tyler Smith up in this biatch because Tyler Smith is obviously a major. Even though he hasn't been having a great year, he's a major player. And Tyler Smith worked with the rehab group during the last 2 days of the media portion of practice. And he had a wrap around his left knee. Also, on the offensive line, do you remember Chuma Edoga? he got hurt in preseason. He's back. The 21-day window has opened on Chuma Edoga. So he's practicing. He practiced on Wednesday after suffering that toe injury in training camp that has him missed. He's missed almost 13 weeks already, entering these 3 weeks of practice window. McCarthy, okay, so that's the offensive line situation there. Just so you know, Chuma Edoga, do you put him in there if you don't have Tyler Guyton, or do you put in Awesome Richards? I put in Awesome Richards. That's just me. Edoga is old news. We don't need Edoga.
Not just
He's
that,
gone.
but like I just said, Awesome Richards has played well, done solid.
Let's get him some more opportunity.
Back Chuma when Asim is doing just fine.
And Awesome Richards Awesome Richards could also be our future. So let's get him some work. Like, fuck Chuma Edoga. He's gone next year. He's done. So he's practicing right now. Doesn't mean he's going to play. Now, another guy who's getting close to playing, and he should have been back this week, I don't know, or last week, is Brandon Cooks, our second receiver. Everyone forgot about him already.
I did forget about him, actually.
Brandon Cooks, according to McCarthy, he says Brandon Cooks is, quote, getting close to returning. Still no return.
I guess we need all the help we can get.
He's not. His 21-day window hasn't been open yet.
No.
What the fuck is going on? So, anyways, without a Monday game, there will be no formal injury report on Wednesday. Well, we didn't have an injury report yesterday, but there was kind of a visual who practiced and who didn't. Hunter Lipke didn't practice yesterday.
Okay.
Zach Martin didn't practice. Tyler Smith was rehabbing there. Eric Kendricks, Nick Vigil, Jordan Lewis, Trayvon Diggs, Kalen Carson, Deron Bland. All these guys obviously were not in practice on the walkthrough on Wednesday. Deron Bland and Tyler Smith with the knee both were on the sideline working with the rehab cords, with the rehab director of rehab, but Britt Brown, but with the resistance cords. Yeah. So that was what the injury situation was looking like. But then, and even on the field with Jonathan Mingo wearing number 81, I think, out there, he said he's going to be making his Cowboys debut against the Texans on Monday night. So a little good news there. If you guys want to see Jonathan Mingo, a guy we
look forward to.
We threw away a 4th round pick on. We'll get to see him play. But I want to make sure I clarify something. I hear some other content creators kind of hyping this up, and they make people get bad information. We get the right information here as best as we can. If we make a mistake, we correct it. But I'm hearing a lot of people saying Mingo's going to start this week. No, guys. He is not starting. He will not be starting. He is just going to be playing in this game. He may come in the second snap of the game. I don't know, but the starters are still the same guys, and I don't think Mingo is going to be the starter for this game. There's no word that he's the starter.
By the way, doesn't Brandon Cooks have? Isn't it a foot injury for Brandon Cooks? Or am I misremembering?
I think so. I'm not sure. I forgot what it was, but
yeah, I want to say it was a foot injury. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I forgot what it was. I mean, he's been so insignificant for us this year. So. But, yeah, I just wanted to say, like, when you look at these, at Mingo, he's not starting for the Cowboys. He's projected to play and make his debut wearing that star for the Cowboys against the Houston Texans. Now, yesterday we talked about Micah, the Marvin Overshown, Tyler Guyton, banged up. CeeDee Lamb, is he going to be banged up? When we looked at the injury report from today, CeeDee Lamb is no longer on the injury report, guys, after that shoulder issue 2 weeks ago.
That's
great news there for CeeDee Lamb. Then we look at this list, and you look at some of the guys who are full participants in practice. Trayvon Diggs, full practice. Tyler Guyton, the rookie, full practice. I suspect he will play this game here. Eric Kendricks with the shoulder, also with the shoulder, full practice. Overshown, full practice for Overshown.
I like hearing how many full practices we're having.
Micah Parsons, full practice.
Whew.
Cooper Rush, who was banged up with a neck issue, full practice. Wanye Thomas, who was a concussion last week, full practice. He's out of concussion protocol. He's playing this week. And Donovan Wilson with the hip, also full practice. So if there's no setbacks, all those guys I just said, they're all going to play for this game here. And then you have some limited guys. The main limited guy is Tyler Smith. He was limited on the sideline doing this. And again, his injury is a knee, left knee. Limited, should play, but limited practice. Something to watch. The other limited guy is the guy we just put back on the 21-day window, which is Chuma Adoga, offensive tackle. All offensive guys are a little limited. And then we had a handful of guys who did not practice at all. DaRon Bland still did not practice. Kalen Carson with a shoulder and an illness did not practice. Jake Ferguson also had an illness. He did not practice. Jordan Lewis had a neck issue. No practice for him. Something to keep an eye on. Hunter Lipke with the calf. Didn't practice. We knew that 2 days in a row. Zach Martin with the shoulder. We had it last week. Didn't practice, but played. Didn't practice again. Dak Prescott still obviously has not been put on injured reserve yet. Even though he's had a surgery, he should be on injured reserve by the end of the week, which will open up another spot for the Cowboys. But Dak still on the list. Hamstring, didn't practice. He's out for the year. And Nick Vigil with the foot. He did play, but he was out all last week. And this week he's also not practicing, at least in day one of practice. So, guys, Jake Ferguson, Jordan Lewis, DaRon Bland, Carson, Hunter Lipke, Zach Martin, all the other guys did not practice. To me, the ones to watch for, I think the illnesses are fine. To me, the bigger ones are like a Jordan Lewis, a Hunter Lipke, even a Zach Martin. Those are the main three. And here's the sad one, guys. To me, this is kind of sad. DaRon Bland, I think he's gone for the year. And I say this only because of the setback he had before the Lions game, and the Cowboys opened up his 21-day window. It is running to the end.
You were the first one to, say it when we initially heard some of the kerfuffle these last few weeks. And
guys,
stuff.
the rules are if he does not, if he doesn't get off the 21-day window, he is out for the year, automatically on IR for the rest of the year. And right now, because of the setback, I think McCarthy spoke about it today a little bit. He's just like, he doesn't have any answers yet what happened. He doesn't know what's going to happen. That tells me DaRon Bland is going to be, injured reserve the rest of the year. That's what it tells me. So do not expect DaRon Bland to play not only this week, but if he's not activated by this week, he is gone for the year. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. That's it's unfortunate, but DaRon Bland, I'd almost rather just let him sit out. Everybody sit out the year because let's get as high a pick as possible and rest these guys for another chance next year, a realer chance with $100 million open on the cap if we wanted to. So let's do that. Now, the Texans, here at the hands on their face, they're obviously doing a lot better than we are. They get a boost on their injury report. You know why? Because their star receiver, Nico Collins, he'd been on IR with a hamstring injury, practiced yesterday for the first time, and is going to be activated to the 53-man roster. So that is huge. You know why? He was the NFL's leading receiver when he suffered that injury. And then he's dropped off the list, but now he's back. He is their weapon, and he is healthy. Nico Collins comes back to play for the Texans against us, of course. So when you look at their Thursday injury report, C.J. Stroud had a right hand injury, but fully participated in practice. Nico Collins, like I said, even though he's on an active roster, he's still limited with the hamstring. Will Anderson, a major player for them on defense, still out with an ankle injury. And you got guys out there like Stingley with a hip, Lasser with a concussion, Fatukasi with a foot injury, Laramie Tunsil with the knee injury. All these starters, all new injuries since Sunday's game. Looking at this whole thing here, the full practices, Jeff Okudah and C.J. Stroud, they're good to go. No problems for them. Limited, Nico Collins, like I discussed already, Blake Fisher, backup linebacker, looks like Jake Hansen, an ankle, Damian Pierce with a groin, and Laramie Tunsil, a starter with a knee issue. They're limited to watch. And did not practice. Derek Stingley Jr. with the hip, cornerback. No practice for him. Concussion with Kamari Lassiter. Did not practice. Florenusu Fatuski. He has a foot issue. Did not practice. Neither did Denico Autry. He's just getting rest, though. He'll be good for the game. I forgot. Limited was Aziz Al-Shair, who actually I liked a lot there. He's wearing number 0. He has a knee issue. He was limited in practice. But Will Anderson Jr. is the other big name there, number 51, with an ankle issue. That could be an issue for them. Did not practice for the Texans today. So when you look, the last thing I'm going to say, and we're done. Then I know you're going to finish it up for us.
Yeah.
I just say one thing about this. I'm going to go through a quick. What are the advantages and disadvantages for the Cowboys versus the Texans? And it's going to be quick because they got all the advantages. So when it comes to running, there's only 2 places where we're better than them at running the ball. All right? Well, on offense, we're the best at running the ball when the quarterback has to scramble.
Good job, Dallas.
We're better. Our quarterbacks, and this is with Cooper Rush and Trey Lance, our quarterbacks scramble better than C.J. Stroud. That's because they have to. C.J. Stroud don't have to. So
it's like a rabbit running away from the fox. Like, the fox might be faster, but the rabbit has to get away because if it doesn't, it dies.
I mean, the Texans are 31st at stopping quarterback scrambles. We are 21st at scrambling. So not that great. And the other one where there's no advantage, we're 29th rushing against a stacked box. And when they stack the box, they're 30th. So that's, I guess you can say, we can kind of run against a stacked box against these guys. Mm-hmm. There's really no advantage for the Cowboys there. On the other side of the ball, in our defense versus their offense and their running game, we only have one advantage. And that's also when the quarterback scrambles. When the quarterback scrambles, the Texans are 24th. When the quarterback scrambles on our defense, we're 19th. This is not like we're destroying them. Like, this is the only category we somehow come close to like beating these guys in. They will run all over us. Even though they don't have a great running game, their running game ranks in around the high 20s. But our run defense ranks in the low 30, 31, 32. Overall, they're killing us on their run game versus our. Even though they're not that good at running, we suck at stopping the run. When it comes to us running, guys, we're anywhere from 28th to 32nd when it comes to running the ball in offense. They, on the other hand, are anywhere between, other than stacked boxes, they're basically anywhere between 15 and 5th. They got a good run defense, and we don't have much of a running offense. Now, when it comes to passing the ball, and their offense versus our defense, we only have one advantage, and that is the deep pass. That is one thing that Zimmer has done, I guess you can say, is we really haven't gotten beat deep very often. But we're basically 18th against the long pass on defense, and on offense, they're only 23rd against the deep passes. So they shouldn't be killing us, but now they got Nico Collins. If he plays, well, then they're going to be going. Then they're really higher than they're showing in ranking. If he had been there all year, he'd been a lot higher. So, deep passing, that is the only thing that we come close on our defense to slow down C.J. Stroud on the offense. When it comes to our offense passing, and now, remember, guys, our numbers are skewed because that was a Dak Prescott where he at least was better than Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. Cowboy offense at throwing the ball, we don't have any advantages throwing the ball against their pass defense. Our passing offense ranks between the high 20s to 30th. That is we're basically like between 24 and 30 on offense passing the ball. Multiple categories. The Texans, they're basically top 10 in everything in the pass defense. So, guys, passing the ball with Trey Lance, Cooper Rush, for me, it's going to be under 100-yard passing game in my opinion for this offense against this very good pass defense. And our running game, if we even run the ball, which we should run the whole game because that at least takes time off the clock and makes the game closer. But if we run the ball all game or run the ball a lot, it keeps the game, I guess, a little bit closer. But they still have a pretty decent run game. They have a pretty decent run stop. And we don't run the ball enough. If we're down by a lot, we ain't running at all. On the other hand, they don't have a good running game. But we have one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. So we lose basically in every single pass defense, passing the ball on offense, we lose both. Running the ball on offense and stopping the run on defense, we lose both. We're at a great disadvantage for this. This is the battle for Texas. Let's be honest, the battle for Texas. So it looks like the Texans have the upper hand on us once again, even if they look shameful as they always do. I'm going to shut the fuck up, baby. And any last comments from you and the chat before we wrap this up for the night? And it looks like we're not going to hit the goal, unfortunately. But, we'll have a chance again on Saturday to hit that goal.
That's right. And I do want to take a second here to shout out the sponsor of the week, John Luna.
Hell yeah.
And the membership gifting champion, John Luna.
Hell yeah.
Much
Don't forget
love.
The Cash App King, JetLee44. And he's also 37 points on the stream, boss. The leaders this week, we only got 2 leaders because there's no gifting leader right now at the moment. We have Skeptical Fan was leading, but baby, I have a shout out to make right now. Pat Pfeiffer.
Woo!
dropping a $10 holler.
Huge shout out to you, Pat. Much
Pat
love.
is now in the lead, just jump skeptical fan for first place on the Cash App board. So big shout outs to Pat Pfeiffer. Much love to you. And always, she said, go Cowboys, no matter what. Big shout outs to you. She can't. Oh, Pat, the only way you can gift is if you're in the membership. Even in the navy blue, you can gift. But yeah, there you go. The only way you can gift is if you are in the gift or you're in the membership already. And by the way, I did receive your. I think I received a little $10 drop earlier from Pat Pfeiffer. I think from last night's stream, Pat. Let me know if I was wrong about that. But I got that one as well, and I'll see you guys on After Dark as well to talk about that a little more. So, anyways, that's it from my side on this Houston Texans game. We're going to talk a lot more about the Houston Texans and the Cowboys on Saturday night when we have a better idea of, hey, there you go, gifting membership, Traveling Fools. Woo. Holy shit, man! What's up, Traveling Fools?
Hi, Traveling Fools.
His Dolphins and Tua. They back out there. They got to win, right? So much love to Traveling Fools. Appreciate you. And who's the lucky winner?
That was Beast Mode.
Hey, Beast
Congrats,
Mode.
Beast Mode.
We got Traveling Fools, Pat 5 for Beast Mode. They got the After Dark crew in the house here as we're about to end this stream here. Big shout outs to Traveling Fools. And guess what, Traveling Fools? Not only are you on the leaderboard now, but you're also the leader on the gifting board. Kicking it off, right, brother? Thank you. Appreciate you. I know we have our disagreements about a lot of things. Congrats on your big win, if you know what I mean. We'll talk about that in the After Dark session, though. This is only football here. And I say congrats on your big win. That means, the politics thing, but also your Dolphins beating was it the Jets last week? I forgot the last game they played. Anyways, big shout outs to Traveling Fools. And on the board he goes there, tied for 5th place.
Oh, but let me go ahead and touch on those comments there by our front office / coaches.
Yes. Oh,
in just a minute here, because we do have to take a second. Shout out the man, Darren Posey.
Darren Posey in the house. By the way, that does hit the goal, I think, right?
That's right.
Is it 3 now? Do we still have it at 3?
All right. Yes, it is.
So, yeah, we're running at the end of it because, running out of time. Much love there. Darren Posey with the 5 on it. Technically 7 away from hitting the goal. We only have like 15 minutes, I guess. But we're going to be out of here before that unless it comes in a barrage. Probably not going to hit the goal, but if we do, he'll get an extra bonus raffle in here to try to win a bonus raffle. What did Darren Posey have to say, baby?
He said, hey, you all. Hope
What's
it's
up?
well. It's bitter living in the D.C. area because the Commodes lost and the E-Girls won.
I can truly only imagine. And that fucking
sucks. Being out of market, so to speak, as a Cowboy fan.
It's a little helpful, I guess, in some ways.
It can put some extra salt in the wound sometimes. And unfortunately, especially for those of you Cowboy fans, out of market is not going to live in Dallas,
Yeah.
But it is unfortunate for the fans who happen to not just live outside of Dallas, right? But the fans who live in Giant Country and Eagle Country and Commode Country.
Commodes.
That does add an extra layer of bullshit to it. So, Darren Posey, much love. And hopefully you can get through these next few weeks with as minimal crap as possible.
Yeah,
so
we got to put up with it. That's what makes you a true fan, though, brother.
So, kind of rolling back, like we said, we heard from our front office. Jerry Jones had quite a bit to say these last few days. Of course, he said it. We're sticking by our man, and our man is Cooper Rush. Apparently, he gives us the best chance.
So Cooper, of course.
Adding in there that the loss to the Eagles this Sunday was out of character for Cooper Rush, saying, quote, he was not the Cooper Rush we know. A lot of things went wrong for us out there Sunday. He can play better than that. He did also say that he wouldn't be surprised if there continues to be specific Trey Lance packages or, things worked into our game plan.
That makes sense. I mean, that's what I expect, is to see a lot more Trey Lance in the mix. Try to sell him a little bit,
No, trust me, I get it. But Jerry Jones also threw out there, this made me laugh a little bit. He said that he's still seeing positive things from Zeke, saying, quote, we're not living in the past with Zeke.
All you're doing, Jerry, is living in the past with most of your thought process. Let's be honest.
I agree.
The board's updated, by the way, and big shout out to Pat Pfeiffer because she just dropped. I gotta put her name up here. She just dropped another $10 holler.
Woo!
They're taking a little bit of a bigger lead on that Cash App side. Big shout out to Pat Pfeiffer. Hell yeah! And you know what she said? Yo Cowboys!
Woo!
Much love.
Thank you so much, Pat. Always appreciate you.
Woo. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. So Jerry, we heard like the post-game comments that Jerry made about the whole, sun and the stadium and blah, blah, blah. But he actually made even more comments when he spoke on 105 through the Fan later on in the week.
About that sunlight?
So I want to make that clear. Like, some of this might sound the same, but I promise
it's from a different
brand
interview.
New day, brand
By
new
the way,
comments.
if you're wondering what the sun was, and you remember CeeDee Lamb couldn't see the ball, that's what he was looking at. The ball's on the ground over there to his right, and he was looking in front of him, and he couldn't see it, lost track of it. Jerry Jones refuses to put up curtains for that sunlight coming in.
Yeah.
But Jerry Jones wearing sunglasses. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
Jerry said, of all the things that we need to improve, this is way down. This is way down on the list of improvement. That stadium was built to feel like you're outdoors. It's the largest air-conditioned space in the world, and my biggest thought when we're building it was make it look like it was outdoors. Every venue has certain things at certain ways and times that can create an advantage, and that really goes under the category of home field advantage. It should be an advantage to the home team, and it has been an advantage for us to know where the sun is. I don't want to change that.
Now, I do want to say, I said it earlier. Remember,
did the sun change directions?
Remember I said it earlier,
the last
though?
few years, Jerry?
I said it earlier that we literally looked at all the teams we played in that sunset game, the later afternoon game, and we do just as bad against the good teams. That means there's no advantage to us. So Jerry Jones saying there's an advantage is a lie. That's all. I just want to clarify that.
No, thank you for doing that. So Jerry also explained in more detail why he feels like Cooper Rush is the better quarterback over Trey Lance, saying Cooper has shown he has the capability to compete and win games, and he does give us our best chance. Frankly, that was really an out-of-character game for him based on what we've seen.
I mean, not really, but all right. He's 5-1 2 years ago.
Jerry
That's great.
Did kind of imply
the one loss
that
against the Eagles.
Jerry did kind of imply that Cooper Rush suffered a bit of a neck strain when he was attempting to recover that fumble on that second series. He wasn't trying to make excuses for him, just saying that that could have contributed to the fact that he didn't look as good as I guess Jerry was expecting. And with Dak's surgery, Jerry did mention, quote, his prognosis is wonderful. It just means that we're not going to have him for the rest of the year. Wonderful prognosis, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry, for the prognosis of the Dak gone for the year. Wonderful prognosis. We all knew that, though, that was going to be the prognosis. And it probably is wonderful to keep Dak from playing anymore this season.
The good news is that was it from Jerry Jones.
That's always
the bad
good.
news is we did also hear from Stephen Jones.
I don't know what's worse.
So
Stephen Jones' son.
So the good thing is that he did clarify, and this was the day after the game, that it looks like we have a great shot of having Overshown back this week.
Yeah. So again, I call that.
And that was, and like I said, and that was even earlier in the week. He also said that they felt really good about Tyler Guyton being able to play Monday night, and saying that even though he looks good, that Awesome Richards played very well in his place, which we agree with.
We actually we've said that multiple times.
So Stephen was also asked very directly, hey, so what kind of repercussions do you, as in you and Jerry, face when the team isn't playing well and doing well? Stephen said, I just think we have to look at how we can get better, and that's what we'll continue to do. We've had a good run where we won 12 games in 3 consecutive seasons, and I think only Kansas City did a better job. At the same time, we didn't have that success in the postseason that we wanted. And then, of course, to have this situation happen is certainly disappointing. It's disappointing for anyone who follows the Cowboys and who thinks about the Cowboys as their team. They deserve better than that, and we'll continue to look for ways to improve upon that.
I hope so, because
did anyone in
28 years
anything
of
that
this hasn't changed.
Did anyone in anything that he said there hear any kind of answer to that question?
No.
Because no,
I heard a lot of
not.
bullshit that I heard. That's par for the course with these guys.
Just figured we would point that out there. And finally, Mike McCarthy had a lot of things to say these last few days. As far as the adversity that our team is facing, he said, I'm never going to try to be someone else, and I think it's important for all of us to operate in that phase. We are all brought here for a reason. We've done good things together, so we need to continue to work and stay convinced to that commitment. If anything, these moments really confirm who you are and why you're here, and that's the way that I look at it. I think it's an incredible opportunity for this football team and what's in front of us. To be in this valley of adversity and come out of this would be a great story. This is a great opportunity for us, and I tell these guys repeatedly, just enjoy this. This is something you can really learn from for the rest of your life.
I mean, he's giving you the pep talk there, but I don't know. It just feels like it's time.
It's hard. I have to be honest. I know he's trying to like convince us that like, don't give up. You can no. Anyway, McCarthy also was asked if there was a time that they would have shut down Duron Bland for the whole season, considering how much time he's already missed, and if they're close to basically doing that anytime soon. And McCarthy said, I wouldn't say so. I haven't been part of any conversation that illustrates that. Until it's right, we're not going to play him. You've just got to trust the feedback between him and Britt Brown and trust the process. And right now, we just haven't crossed that threshold. So
trust the process. Love it.
And again, no surprise here. I know you touched on it already, but McCarthy finally confirmed Dowdle is our starting running back, saying definitely you have to get him the ball.
Yeah.
That's my focus, to continue to get him opportunities. He's the lead back.
No more, three-headed monster or RB by committee. These committees for the Cowboys, receivers or running back, they never work. Once again, Rico Dowdle, by far the best running back we have on the team.
McCarthy also throwing in there, similar to how Jerry mentioned, Cooper Rush had that neck thing. He did say that Cooper Rush did deal with a bit of a neck strain after that first fumble. But Cooper Rush himself said, it's a little neck thing, but we're good to go and we're feeling great now. McCarthy was asked, well, how long did it take him to get over it? He's like, 1 minute. I mean, we were good. So
interesting.
I know more of a neck twang, maybe. The final thing here, guys, as we start wrapping things up, McCarthy did confirm what we were all kind of expecting, that Jonathan Mingo will be playing and is expected to be active for this Monday game.
Not start. They didn't say, no, he might start, but they didn't say he's going to start, but he's definitely going to play in this game.
I think maybe some of that confusion also came from the fact that McCarthy was like really hyping him up, saying, he was everything we thought he was going to be and more. He can play inside, he can play outside, he's got vertical juice, like... Okay, let's see it in action, McCarthy. I mean, I'm glad he has all these things. What exactly is he going to do with it when all we do is run a little poster, like just a little route, little thing,
little easy little slants. I mean, but you know what? That's Mingo's thing, though. Mingo has the breakaway speed. He's got the yak stuff. You know what I'm saying? But he doesn't have he doesn't have that pure speed to go deep. He's the guy that gets physical. He's the guy that gets first downs. And if the guy falls down and misses a tackle, he can go a lot more. Then the speed takes over. But that's what Mingo's going to give us. A 4th-round pick given away. I think it was next year. It's 2025. That sucks because it's going to be a high pick. It's not going to be a pick in the 20s.
I know.
It's going to be a pick in the top 5. So
yeah, they're getting a much better deal for that trade. But hey, we'll see what kind of stats he can put up on Monday. Yeah. But the first
and go from there, right?
We got to get there. So
and again, we'll be back. We'll be back on Saturday with another goal attempt for you guys to hit. And, hey, if we hit it, right now we hit it once so far. If we hit this one on Saturday or the game day one or the game day one, we'll have 3 goal days, and we'll put them all in a big pot, pick out a name, and then that person gets in the big raffle. So we'll see. It'll probably be done like next Monday or Tuesday for this week's the goals that have been met, so to speak. So we'll see if we meet any more goals this week, but we met them at least once, and that's going to be raffle time. Someone getting a lucky raffle entry from that crew. By the way, I wanted to shout out, I know we shout out Brandon J from earlier, 70-cent drop, but I never read his comment. He did say something that I was actually going to say at the beginning of the stream, but since it's not the Cowboys, he likes the Chiefs as well. He said, Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks, likely headed to IR with a left knee injury. When it comes to kickers, we know that from our own guy, right?
Well-deserving kicker.
Yeah, Butker. Yeah, he's But look, the thing is that you saw what happened with the guy from the fucking Eagles, Jake Elliott. The guy, great kicker. He missed like an extra point and 2 field goals today. Almost missed another extra point off injuries. Right, this is what happens. A kicker gets a little tweak on that anywhere in the leg. That could be their career. Harrison Butker with the Chiefs, he's been great. A little bit of an asshole, but he's been great. Will this change the course trajectory of his career because of that tweak in the leg? So we'll see what happens. But thank you, Brandon Shea, for that comment as well. And we heard from Mike McCarthy already. The big bubble said everything he needed to say. Baby, I think it's time to do those final shout-outs and call it a night here on All MCF. Right. And we'll be back Saturday for the preview between the Cowboys and Texans.
Huge shout out, True Cowboy, Pat Pfeiffer, Scorpio, Traveling Fools, Sea Bass. We have, let me see, who else is here? Frank, much love. A-Town Frank.
Yeah.
We have Darren Posey, of course, much love to you as well. Beast Mode representing. Rolando Rodriguez all the way from South Texas. Double R, much love to you. Just want to make sure I don't miss anybody here. Actually, that's actually as far back as it lets me go.
Well, I know we had a couple people in the beginning.
Thomas Garrett, the Superior Garrett.
Hell yeah. Freedom first. Also, people that dropped the love from above tonight. Extra special shout out to them. John Luna, who is our sponsor of the week and the leader for this week. Not by much, though. Pat Pfeiffer's right there. We also have John Luna as our gifting membership champion. And even though he's trying to go back-to-back on the overall board, Traveling Fools in the lead when it comes to the gifting memberships for this week. So big shout-outs to Traveling Fools, John Luna, Skeptical Fan, Alanda Hanslu, Double R, Brandon J, and Pat Pfeiffer, who, by the way, we got the Cash App King, Jet Li 44. He's repping the crown, but Pat Pfeiffer is looking to take that crown right back, and she's like, give me that. I'm the Cash App Queen. So right now she got a little bit of a lead over everybody, over Skeptical Fan, over Jet Li, over everyone. So big shout-outs over Brandon J, over everyone. Big shout-outs to Pat Pfeiffer, and I think that's everything, right? Jet Li, 32 points in the stream ball, still holding strong there. And hey, everybody, you see that Pat Pfeiffer second on the board. You see the whole crew up there. Thank you all. Again, cannot do this without your love and support, without your drops of knowledge in the chat and the back and forth that we try to do here. We used to do it the nightly, but after 2 years ago, we had to kind of cut things up a little bit differently with our schedules to make it work. So, definitely a bunch of times a week. And always our live stream passionate reactions for every game, win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. So I think we shout everybody out. I see Scottzilla in the house. Make sure you guys don't forget, come over to the After Dark session in about an hour from now or so. We'll have a little party there, a little music party hopefully tonight, a little chiller music party tonight maybe. And I can take this damn scoreboard off the screen too after the end of the stream. On that note, baby, it is time to wrap it up for the night. Call it a night and appreciate you and everybody on the chat for all the interaction, the fun today, even though it's not, this is the farthest from a fun season we've had in a long time. So on that note, baby, why do we do this each and every night here in My Cowboys Family?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
You know it. Win, lose, or draw. Good, bad, or ugly. Here in MCF, we always will rep that star over everything. And here on this channel for 8 seasons of doing the live stream reactions, and just NFL seasons, and 7.5 years of being on YouTube doing this thing, myself and the wife and the family, you guys in the house, never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys. No matter what, let's get that 6 next year and beyond. Thank you all for dropping that knowledge in the chat all night long, all night. And thank you all for dropping that love from above, whether it was the gifting, whether by Traveling Fools or the Cash App and by many others like Pat Pfeiffer and Skeptical and Brandon, or just the super chat like you guys did in the house here, like John Luna trying to hit that bullseye, and all the others on here. I think we had another person actually drop the 5. Oh, was it Hans? Who was the one that dropped the 5 on it? That I forgot somebody else who dropped it. I didn't shout them out, so I have to shout them out, and I apologize for that. Give me a second here. Oh man, why does my screen just go off? Like, are we still online? We are. Okay. So my screens are going off for some crazy ass reason. But give me a moment here, and I will shout it out.
Sorry, is that
no? I mean, here it is. Okay, Darren Posey, of course. Double R.
I shouted him out.
No, I know, but I don't think I shouted him out when I did the shout outs for the drops of love. So Double R, Darren Posey, and on. Everybody else I already shouted out, but I wanted to make sure I got everybody's name, everyone's proper appreciation acknowledged. On that note, it is time to get on out of here. Thank you for your drops of knowledge, your drops of love, and we're going to drop over to MCF After Dark for a couple of musical drops. Some requests from you guys, maybe a couple shots, some THC chugs. We'll see. Have some fun over there for a couple hours, and then call it a night on the After Dark. But here we're calling a night on My Cowboys Family, and thank you all for joining us. On that note, it is time to get on out of here, baby. So as we wrap it up and, clock out of here, drop out of here for the night, and relock and reload for the weekend for our Houston Texan at Dallas Cowboy Battle for Texas preview stream on Saturday night for our Monday night game. Join us again for that one. Make sure you don't miss it this weekend. On that note, baby, before we can officially and 100% drop on out of here, what do we got to do before we drop out for the night?
We got to drop the beat.
Woo! What was that? The comment there in the Nightbot is Nightbot's trolling traveling fools over there. But I don't know what happened there. Thank you guys again. It's always fun. See some of you guys on the After Dark. You could be anywhere. You're here chilling with us, talking Cowboy football, news, info, and updates on our Dallas Cowboys here at MCF for another Cowboys chat. Yeah, we got crushed by the Eagles. We got some things to take out of that. We got our paper bags, right? We got them ready. We got the Houston Texans next for the battle for the state of Texas, baby. And it's going to be tough for us to beat the Houston Texans. Hopefully we can make them shed a tear or leave them in a bag of bones. But either way, it's going to be rough. Make sure you join us for the preview stream Saturday night here at MCF, My Cowboys Family. Here, it's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that beautiful star always over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here on My Cowboys Family. Thank you guys for keeping it rolling here on the nightly. You dropping your knowledge, but also hitting that like button for the stream, hitting the subscribe button for the channel. And of course, make sure you hit that notification bell to all videos, so you know when we're going live, posting a video, whatever it is. Thank you guys on that. Of course, jump in the Discord. The links are in the description. And same thing for X, Twitter, and all those social medias at My Cowboys Family. You can get us there. We'll see you guys on Saturday night for the preview stream. Everyone stay safe, take care. Thank you guys, and never ever forget, Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.